Hey y'all, I'm Allison, 30 female. Growing up, I had the privilege of being spoiled. My father, a successful businessman, provided me with a more than comfortable life. However, don't mistake my privilege for snobbery. Sure, I enjoyed the finer things in life, but I also knew the value of humility. I wasn't just a spoiled brat. I was so much more than that. Unfortunately, the moment people heard my name, their assumptions would kick in. They would turn away, assuming that I was just another entitled rich kid. It was disheartening to see how quickly people judged me without even getting to know me. As a result, I found myself lacking genuine friendships, often surrounded by jealousy instead of genuine connections. It left me feeling lonely and, at times, desperate for meaningful relationships. That's when Victor entered my life. We met, sparks flew, and before I knew it, we were married after only 3 months of dating. Stupid, I know, but what can I say? It was a whirlwind romance, the kind you see in movies. For the first time, I experienced what it truly meant to be in love, and I held on to it with all my might. Victor was my anchor, my partner in crime, and my rock in this unpredictable world. But, as they say, life is never smooth sailing. Along with my newfound happiness came the complexities of navigating family dynamics. You see, Victor's parents, Asher and Jenny, were not exactly thrilled with our relationship. They had reservations about me, their assumptions fueled by the stereotypes associated with my background. I understood their concerns, their desire to protect their son from potential heartache or manipulation or the negatives that come with living a super lavish lifestyle. But it pained me to see their judgment without truly getting to know who I was as a person. I yearned for their acceptance and tried my best to prove that I was more than just a spoiled girl. Something changed the trajectory of my life forever, and it all started on this particular day, months after Victor and I tied the knot. Jenny, Victor's mother, called me out of the blue. It was a sunny afternoon and I was caught off guard by her unusually chipper tone. You know, the kind of tone that makes your heart skip a beat because you know something unexpected is coming your way. Jenny began by exchanging pleasantries and then she dropped the bombshell. She wanted to go on a trip, a luxurious getaway, and her and Asher had been saving their hard-earned money to make it happen. I could sense the anticipation in their voice, the excitement of something extraordinary on the horizon. In an attempt to please Jenny and finally get in her good graces, I blurted out without much thought, "Oh, don't worry about money. I'll take care of everything." Seriously? You do that? Of course, you're my family and I want you to fully enjoy your trip without worrying about expenses. I couldn't possibly let you do that, sweetie. It's too much. Nonsense. It's all on me. I love you and I want all of us to have a good time. Now, tell me about the details of the trip. Jenny's joy was palpable. She was really happy knowing that I was willing to shoulder the financial burden. I thought that this gesture would let her know that I cared and that I wanted to help in any way I could, and she seemed to be really appreciative. Since you're footing the bill, we needn't worry about anything else. Asher and I will plan the itinerary, so don't worry about the nitty-gritty, all right? All right, Jenny, I'm so excited. We cut the call and proceeded to go on about our days respectively. The week leading up to the trip was filled with excitement and anticipation. Victor and I gushed about everything we'd get to do. It was almost like we were kids excited to go to Disneyland. Amidst all the excitement, I even splurged on first-class tickets, wanting us to arrive in style and experience the journey with utmost comfort. Finally, the day arrived and we found ourselves in the breathtaking beauty of Morocco. The vibrant colors, the bustling markets, and the rich culture immediately captivated us. For Victor, Asher, and Jenny, it was their first international trip and their amazement was contagious. Even though I had been to Morocco before, I couldn't help but fall in love with the place all over again. Being the one with previous experience in Morocco, I took on the role of a tour guide eager to show them the best spots and immerse them in the local culture. We have to explore the Djemma El Fna Square in Marrakesh. It's so beautiful. And don't even get me started on the cuisine. At first, everything seemed great. Victor, Asher, and Jenny seemed appreciative of my efforts, and we were having a wonderful time. However, things took a turn when we arrived at the luxurious 5-star hotel that Jenny had planned and booked. We arrived at the beautiful Stardust Hotel. As I started unpacking in the hotel room, Asher suddenly said I should stop. Confused, I asked him what was up. Ali, you won't be staying with us in this fancy hotel. We've got a different place for you. I was taken aback, trying to wrap my head around what he was saying. I thought he was joking, so I laughed it off and continued, but Victor, my husband, approached me and tightened his grip on my arm, silently telling me to hold on a minute. I looked to Jenny for an explanation. Jenny, with a smirk on her face, chimed in. Oh, Ali, this 5-star hotel is just for us. We found a motel online where you'll be staying. My jaw practically hit the floor. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I turned to Victor, searching for answers in his eyes, but he stayed silent. My frustration grew, and I desperately tried to understand their twisted reasoning. What are you saying? Why are you doing this? Jenny and Asher wasted no time in explaining themselves. They claimed that they never really liked me, thinking I was too full of myself. This was their way of teaching me a lesson in humility. You've been spoiled for too long. You need to be humbled. I mean, seriously? Who offers to cover all the expenses on a luxury trip? And let us go first class? You just never stop, do you? You're always showing off your money. I did no such thing. I was just trying to be kind. Oh, please, Ali. We all know that you're obsessed with your money. You too? What is wrong with all of you? You think you're better than all of us, don't you? With your fancy dad and his fancy money, what would happen if he lost everything, You'd be nothing. I couldn't hold back my anger any longer. Are you kidding me? I've always appreciated what I have, and I've never acted like I'm better than anyone. I just wanted to take my family on a trip. What's wrong with that? Asher and Jenny both wore smug expressions, as if they were proud of themselves. It was crystal clear that their dislike for me ran deep. They were willing to go to extreme lengths to put me down without considering how hurtful their actions were. I turned to Victor, and for a moment he looked remorseful. I shrugged away from him and said, All of you are idiots. I guess I'm an idiot too for trusting any of you. I was so fed up and angry that I grabbed all my stuff and stormed out of that hotel room like a thunderstorm. Let me tell you, I was fuming. How could they treat me like this? As I made my way down to the lobby, my phone buzzed and I saw a notification from Jenny. Can you believe she had the audacity to send me the details of that crummy hotel they booked for me? Ugh, I couldn't even deal with it. I just blocked all 3 of them right then and there. I didn't need that negativity in my life. So there I was, stuck in the hotel lobby, feeling completely defeated. I walked up to the front desk, hoping that they had some other room available. But guess what? They were fully booked. Talk about adding insult to injury. I was so upset and didn't know what to do. I found myself sitting in the lobby, tears streaming down my face. It was in that moment of despair that I decided to call my dad. I poured my heart out to my dad. I told him everything that had happened, from the messed up booking to being left stranded in the lobby. He listened to me without interrupting, his voice filled with understanding. Oh, sweetheart, I'm so sorry you had to go through all of that. I've always told you to be careful before rushing into a marriage. With our type of money, there are vampires always out to get us. I know, Dad. It's just I thought things were different with Victor. I thought he truly loved me. I just feel so stupid. Sometimes people disappoint us, Allie. It's a tough lesson to learn, but it doesn't define you. Yeah, I guess you're right. It just hurts so much, you know? I understand, sweetheart. But remember, you're a soldier. This setback won't keep you down for long. You're strong and you'll rise above it. I know it. Thanks, Dad. I really needed to hear that. Then my dad said, by the way, which hotel are you in? It's called the Stardust Hotel, but I already checked. They're fully booked. You know, you could easily clear out the place if you wanted to. I know, but why would I displace all these people? They deserve to enjoy their stay here, even if this place is harboring some idiots who kicked me out. The nerve. I literally paid for the hotel room and they had the audacity to kick me out. Hold on. Did you say Stardust? Yeah, I did. Why? Wait one moment, Cupcake. I need to check something. He put me on hold for a couple of minutes, and when he returned, his voice was filled with excitement. Tell those fools to get out of my hotel. What? Your hotel? What do you mean? Turns out I own the place. Wait, what? How is that even possible? It's actually quite a funny story. So I was gambling. I know you said I should stop, but it was one time, I promise. Uh-huh, sure. Anyways, the lads and I were gambling and my friend was sloppy drunk, completely wasted. He ended up betting on his hotel. We strongly advised him not to do it, but he just wouldn't listen. Ali, that friend of mine, is Moroccan, and the hotel in question is Stardust. I was speechless, not knowing how to react. It felt like a twist of fate, a lucky coincidence, like a deus ex machina. I'm presuming you won? Always. I never lose, you know that. I could practically hear him smirking through the phone. I don't know what to say. That's completely insane. I forgot to check up with him about transferring ownership. This game happened about a month ago, but I called him up when I put you on hold. You're insane. No wonder people think we're snobby. Well, that's just how the game works. Now go and kick those buffoons out of my hotel. Thanks, Dad. Don't mention it, sweetheart. You can stay in the luxury you deserve. Enjoy your time in Morocco and take a picture of their faces when you tell them the truth. I couldn't thank my dad enough for his support, and this unexpected turn of events, it felt like a ray of hope amidst the darkness. As I hung up the phone, a sense of resilience and determination filled me. I was ready to make the most of my time in Morocco, knowing that I had my dad's love and support, and the opportunity to turn this challenging situation into a remarkable experience. I stormed back to the hotel room where Jenny, Victor, and Asher were staying. My anger fueled my determination as I knocked on the door, demanding their attention. Victor opened the door, surprised to see me, but I didn't give him a chance to speak. I'm coming in whether you like it or not. I barged into the room and Jenny immediately started screaming. What do you think you're doing here? Didn't we already kick you out? Look, boy, she thinks that she can just waltz in here like she owns the place. Actually, I kind of do. Get a load of this. Are you so spoiled that you think any luxurious thing belongs to you? What did I tell you guys? I was right all along. If you don't get out of here, I'll just have to call security. Imagine that. The daughter of a billionaire is escorted out of the premises by security. How embarrassing. Actually, Jenny, you won't be needing to call security. Jenny, they're already here. At that moment, the security guards who had accompanied me made their way inside. They began tossing out everyone's belongings, scattering them in the hallway. Asher, confused and alarmed, said, "What the heck is going on here?" It was the perfect moment to reveal the trump card I had. Well, it turns out my dad happens to own this hotel, so you can all say goodbye to your luxurious stay because I don't appreciate the plan you had to get me. What? That's impossible. When you live the type of lifestyle I do, these sorts of things aren't too outlandish. You're gonna pay for this, kid. I already did pay for this. Don't think I get any special passes. I'm a paying customer and I paid for this room. Ali, please. Oh, now you want to crawl back. I'm afraid it's too little too late. Allison, please. We don't know anything about Morocco. When are we going to go? Unfortunately, that's none of my business. Oh, hey, maybe you could stay in that motel that you got for me. I don't think that single bed will fit all three of you, though. Maybe two of you could sleep on the floor. You're a monster. Asher, it's all of you who are the monsters. You treated me like crap, and you thought I'd let you get away with it? You're even dumber than you look. Allie, I'm so sorry. Me too, Victor. I'm so sorry that I trusted you guys. Anyways, enjoy your stay in Morocco, or don't. I don't care. And Victor, I'll need those divorce papers signed ASAP once I send them to you. I can't stand the thought of still being related to any of you in any way after what you did to me today. Jenny sobbed uncontrollably, and Asher tried to resist shouting at the guards, but he was no match for the bulky security team, who swiftly restrained him and escorted them out of the room. As they were being led away, Asher couldn't resist making a snide remark about me being a spoiled brat. My anger boiled over, and without thinking, I spat in his face. You know what, Asher? You can all go to hell. Jenny, Victor, and Asher were embarrassingly thrown out of the hotel, their faces filled with humiliation as they were escorted by security. A couple of hours had gone by, and they were stranded on the side of the road as they desperately Googled hotels that could accommodate them. They tried to reach out to me, probably realizing the gravity of their actions, but since I had blocked their contacts, they resorted to sending me desperate emails, revealing their failed attempts at finding available hotels. I read their emails, but I had no interest in engaging with their apologies or pleas for forgiveness. I called my dad to update him on the situation. Dad, you won't believe what I'm seeing right now. I can spot Jenny, Victor, and Asher from my window. They look so lost and helpless. I think they've been looking for a hotel for some time now. I'm surprised that it's taken them this long. Well, my dear, about that. Oh, God. Dad, what did you do? I've taken matters into my own hands. I made a few calls and called in some favors. Their names are blacklisted, making it nearly impossible for them to even secure a reservation at a decent hotel. Dad, that seems a bit extreme, don't you think? They've already faced the consequences of their actions. Extreme? Maybe. But no one messes with my baby. They thought they could toy with you and make you suffer. They needed to learn a lesson, and I made sure they did. They won't forget this anytime soon. I appreciate your protectiveness, Dad, but I hope you didn't go too far. I don't want them to suffer endlessly. Don't worry, sweetheart. They'll get the message loud and clear. Sometimes people need a taste of their own medicine to understand the impact of their actions. Trust me, it's for the best. Well, I can't deny that it feels good to see them in such a predicament, but let's hope they learn from this and change their ways. I don't want this to define them forever. Let's hope they reflect on their behavior and make some positive changes. In the meantime, enjoy your well-deserved peace and solitude. Thanks, Dad. You're the best. Always, my love. Remember, you're strong, resilient, and deserving of happiness. Don't let anyone bring you down. As fate would have it, Jenny, Victor, and Asher found themselves back at the same dingy motel they had originally booked for me. Can you imagine the irony? All their scheming, and they ended up experiencing firsthand the discomfort they had intended for me. It must have been a bitter pill for them to swallow, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. I was alone in that big hotel suite that we were supposed to share. It was kind of weird, to be honest. On one hand, I felt this incredible sense of freedom, like I could do whatever I wanted. But on the other hand, it was also a bit lonely. Sitting there in this fancy room, I couldn't help but think about how everything had unfolded and how I ended up here all by myself. As the days passed in that fancy hotel suite, I couldn't help but still feel a bit lonely. But you know what? It was way better to be lonely than to be surrounded by fake people and their toxic energy. I had this moment of clarity where I realized that I deserved better. So a few days later, I mustered up the courage and emailed Victor the divorce papers. And guess what? He tried to reconcile, begged for another chance and all that, but I wasn't falling for it anymore. I knew I deserved more than his empty promises and lies. I was determined to enjoy my time in Morocco without him. When I finally returned home after spending my hard-earned money in Morocco, I got rid of all Victor's stuff. I didn't care if he and his family decided to run back home from the mess they created. You know why? Because I realized there's so much more to life than seeking validation from people who don't even deserve a place in my world. I embraced my freedom and chose to focus on building a life that's authentic to myself. I surrounded myself with positive influences and pursued my passions. I learned to let go of toxic relationships and value myself. Each day, I felt stronger and more empowered. The scars from the past started to heal, and I discovered a newfound love for myself. I learned that true happiness comes from within, not from seeking validation from others. Morocco taught me valuable lessons, and I held onto them as I moved forward in life. With determination and a smile on my face, I took the next steps towards my happiness. I left behind the toxicity and embraced a future filled with self-love and authenticity. Hello guys, my name's Sky and my husband is Tyson. Not using fake names because we are neither famous nor rich. We are pretty middle-class people living in a fairly populated suburb near a city. Anyway, today I will tell you about my crazy mother-in-law, Jill. Let me just start by saying this. Jill was not thrilled to have me in her son's life. Any ideas why? Well, this woman wanted him to marry her best friend's daughter. She always talked about it like it was something destined to happen. She told me, "You know what, Sky? You were just a temporary spot in Tyson's life. My best friend's daughter, Samantha, is his life partner. They grew up together and are thick as thieves." Samantha? Is this the same woman who has been harassing him on social media and in public? I'm pretty sure Tyson wants her nowhere near him now. It's just a silly misunderstanding they had because of you. I am pretty sure you made Tyson blow everything out of proportion. He listened to you and overreacted. Are you going to just ignore the fact that she tried to forcefully kiss him at a party? This is assault, if you are not aware of it, and it's definitely not okay. Oh well, Samantha got a little excited. She does love Tyson a lot. If you weren't being so publicly affectionate with Tyson, she wouldn't have done that. Plus, it's not even a big deal. Tyson and Samantha are meant to be with each other. Just wait. I'm pretty sure Tyson will cheat on you. It is just a matter of time. I can tell that you won't be able to keep him. Yes, it was incredibly bizarre. I'm not one of those women who save nasty people just because they are family. The first thing I did was tell Tyson everything. As usual, he was furious and confronted Jill about it. The fact that Jill cared nothing about her son getting assaulted should have been a major red flag, and trust me, it was for me. But Tyson had a hard time letting his mom go. His brother Brian also advocated for his mother and begged us to forgive her every time, so we were stuck in the cycle of forgiving Jill and her doing something stupid again. The last straw was at our wedding. Jill brought Samantha to the wedding as her +1. When she asked for a +1, I was skeptical. Tyson's father was never in the picture and we didn't know that she was dating anyone. Tyson didn't want to fight with his mom on this, so she was granted a +1. Who knew that she would bring Samantha with her? She was thrown out, of course. Both Samantha and Jill were thrown out. After that, we went low contact with Jill. We were still paying her rent because she took a lower paying job. But Jill was banned from our house and wasn't allowed to contact us except for emergencies. She didn't like that. and so didn't Brian. Brian said, "Guys, can you not do this to Mom, please? Look, I know she made a mistake, but she is still your mom, Tyson. She has been crying and missing you." "There is no use crying now. She should have considered these consequences when she repeatedly kept crossing our boundaries. She even refused to take the Samantha incident seriously." "I get it, Sky. But seriously though, I'm sure she will never repeat this. You guys gave me a house key for emergencies while you won't give her one. How will she help you when I am not around?" "My sister has a key too, so that's not a problem at all." "Okay, then at least her visit sometime. Talk to her when she calls. Come on, guys. She doesn't deserve this treatment." Brian did his best to argue on behalf of his mom, but Tyson had enough and shut him down. Since Tyson is supporting Brian through college, he didn't make much trouble. He was scared of pissing off his brother. Anyway, we thought that the issue had been solved. For a month, there was some peace, but soon something strange began to happen. For about 2 months, both me and Tyson found unknown lingerie around the house. Now, anyone in this situation would immediately doubt their spouses, but we knew better than that. At first, we were annoyed at it, but then we were seriously concerned. Someone had been coming into the house and leaving out these things purposely. Our first suspects were my sister and Brian, but they both had their own apartments and didn't need to use ours for any recreational activities. Then my mind immediately went to Jill. I told Tyson, I have a bad feeling that Jill is somehow involved in this." "What are you saying, Sky? Mom doesn't have access to our house, and she had no way to come inside. Don't be ridiculous." "She had tried to make me believe that you were cheating on me. She has tried the same trick on you too, Tyson. Besides, she knows our schedules well and knows when to come to not get caught." "I don't know, Sky. It seems like a bad suspicion. Mom has respected our boundaries so far. There is no way she would do something so childish." No matter how much in denial Tyson was, I was almost sure that Jill was behind this. I was angry at her for trying to mess up my marriage again and making me feel creeped out in my own home. Anyway, since I didn't have any concrete evidence, I let it go. I needed to get some more evidence before cutting Jill out of our lives for good. I got the chance to catch Jill only a week after this conversation. You see, I was scheduled to go on a girls' vacation with my friends. Very few people knew about it. Tyson would be alone at home with Brian, joining him between classes. The whole trip was planned and I was looking forward to it. But tragedy struck one of my friends and we had to cancel the plan. I am not going to reveal what happened due to privacy reasons, but I will say that there was no way we could go. So me and Tyson ended up cuddling on the couch while watching TV. He was happy that he didn't have to stay away from me for 2 weeks. Anyway, when we were about to have dinner, I got a call from Jill. I wanted to hang up, but remembered that she hadn't called me once in the past few months, so I genuinely thought that it might be an emergency. I put her on speaker and hushed Tyson. As I picked up, I immediately heard Jill crying. She said, "Sky, I'm so sorry I'm disturbing you at this unholy hour. There is something really important that I want to tell you." "What's the matter, Jill? Are you crying? Is everything all right?" "No, everything is not all right, Sky. I was near your house and I saw Tyson with another woman. They were making out in your own house. Sky, I saw it with my own eyes." "What? Can you give me some details about this?" Tyson was looking at me with wide eyes. I also shared his look but remained calm. I motioned for him to stay quiet so that I could speak to Jill without her knowing anything. I knew that she had some sort of agenda on her mind. She continued to say, What do I say, Sky? It was horrible. I don't think I can tell you what they were doing. It's embarrassing and disgusting. Thank God I walked away before I could see more. Oh my God, I'm so disgusted. You should divorce him, you know. I don't know, Jill. I have a hard time digesting this information. I don't think Tyson will ever cheat on me like that. Are you sure you saw him with someone else? Yes, I'm sure, Sky. I saw it with my very own eyes. I walked off immediately before they could spot me. You need to get your head out of the clouds, Sky. I always told you my son would cheat on you. Gone were her tears and sadness from discovering her son cheating on his wife. Instead, she now sounded smug about everything. She was convinced that Tyson cheated on me because I wasn't capable of keeping him happy. I immediately knew that Jill hadn't called me to warn me of the situation. She had called me to gloat about what she found. No matter how hard she tried to sound concerned for me, her real motive spilled out in a minute. I said, "You really did tell me that Tyson would cheat on me. I wish I had listened, but I still don't understand. Me and Tyson were happy together. Why would he do this to me?" You are a dumb witch. Do you know that, Sky? My son is such a handsome and intelligent man, he could get absolutely anyone in this world. You trapped him with your charms and forced him to marry you. He can see through your innocent face now. Finally, he understood his worth. So you are telling me that my husband cheated because I wasn't good enough? I still don't believe it, Jill. He would never do that to me. Oh, but he did, dear Sky. Just like I predicted, he slept with someone else the moment you were out on a vacation. If you want to stay in denial, do as you please. But I know the truth because I saw it with my own eyes. Be ready to have your stuff thrown out of the house once you come back. Wow, you really do sound very sure of yourself, Jill. I guess I'll have to take your word for it. Why don't we add Tyson and confront him together? That will be the best solution, right? Jill was just starting to protest when I signaled Tyson to speak. He was already stewing in anger and trying very hard to hold himself together. He heard his mother insult the two of us over and over again. That was bound to make him mad. I said, "Hey, Tyson, your mom's saying that she saw you cheating on me with someone else. That too in my own house. What's going on, dear?" "Mom, what the hell are you talking about? Why would you make up such a fake story like this? I am not cheating on Sky and never will." But I saw you with someone, Tyson. There is no way you can deny it. You were making out with someone in the house. I know Sky isn't in the house, so you must have taken advantage of it. What is this bullshit story you are spinning, Mom? Nothing like that happened. Why are you trying to ruin my relationship? Son, why are you getting mad at me? I'm on your side. I always knew you would get tired of Sky. She's not good enough for you. Trust me, I'm not mad that you cheated. Stop it, Mom. I haven't cheated on Sky. Stop spinning this bullshit story. I don't know who told you this, but there is no one else for me. I love Sky, and I would never even dream about cheating on her. Come on, Tyson, you don't have to lie. I saw you cheating with my own eyes. Just because Sky isn't at home doesn't mean she won't find out the truth. Who the hell said that Sky isn't at home? There was a stunned silence on Jill's side while she processed that question. I was thoroughly enjoying the show and was really interested to know where and how Jill was getting information about us. We were close to cracking this case and I could feel my heart swell with anticipation. I said, "That is a question to ask Tyson. So, Jill, how did you know that I would be out of town? I'm sure Tyson didn't tell you. We barely talk to you anymore, Jill. How did you know?" That's not important, Sky. Who cares about how I know? You should be more concerned about your marriage than me. Who knows? My son might come to his senses and leave you. He's already banging someone else as soon as you leave for a vacation. Now, here is the catch, Jill. I never went on that vacation. Yes, I was supposed to leave today, but one of my friends had a tragedy. So we canceled the trip altogether. What? You didn't leave for vacation? But I saw... Yes, Jill, you saw Tyson cheating on me with someone else. But there is one important detail, Jill. You said that you saw this with your own eyes. Pray tell me, what were you doing at the house? That's right. You were not supposed to know about the vacation, and you were not supposed to come into the house. How did you do that, Mom? Where did you get the keys? Answer me. There was another round of stunned silence on Jill's end. At this moment, Jill knew that she had messed up. We had caught her doing something shady, and she had nowhere to escape. She didn't know what to say and remained silent for a few seconds before mumbling something and hanging up on us. She got scared and didn't want to say anything that could land her in further trouble. Tyson was extremely furious and finally started to see that we needed to cut off Jill from our lives. But a question remained. Tyson said, God, I can't believe this. So, Mom had been coming to our house regularly? You were telling the truth. The things that were happening in the house made it seem obvious. I knew that it had to be her. She may not have been talking to us, but she sure does know a lot. I've been thinking about the same thing, Sky. How the hell did she get a copy of our key? This is insane. I have a hunch, Tyson. I believe it was Brian who gave her the key. Look, Brian always told us that we were being cruel to his mother, so we know for a fact that he doesn't agree with us. That's not possible. He will never betray me. He has some issues towards you, but I doubt he would go this far. Think about it, Tyson. He's the only one in the family who knew about my vacation. And the only one outside my friend circle who didn't know that the plan had been cancelled. Suddenly, it all starts to sound right. Tyson looked distressed for a while and was straight up in denial. But slowly, details added up and it became evident that Brian was feeding Jill info about us. Also, he was one of the few people who had access to our house keys. After we talked about this issue, we went starlight to the apartment where Brian was staying, and guess who we found there? Yes, Jill dear was there with a panicked look on her face. Tyson looked even more furious than before. I said, Well, looks like my hunch was right, Tyson. It was Brian who had been meddling in our business. What? What are you talking about? My mom can be here whenever she pleases. Also, I don't need your permission to talk to her. No, we never told you not to talk to Mom. But we told you not to share information about us with Mom. You crossed our boundaries and did just that. And you gave her a copy of our house keys, didn't you? Brian looked concerned at what we said. He might be an adult, but boy, he does get pretty scared of his older brother. He kept looking at his mom, who was looking at her feet and not talking. Brian didn't know what to say. I guess his panic made him unable to come up with any bullshit story to save himself. I said, There is no use denying this, Brian. We already know it was you. You were one of the two other people who have our house keys. And I know for a fact that my sister wouldn't give Jill the keys even if her life depended on it. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't give her any house keys. Hell, I didn't even know she went to your house. You don't know that, Brian. Isn't that why Mom is here crying? Are you telling me she isn't here to inform you that she has been caught? Do you think I'm dumb? You are the one who told Jill about my vacation, and you were the only one who didn't know that it was cancelled. You can't lie to us, Brian. We know for sure that it was you. Look, Tyson, she's your mother. How can you just lock her out of your life like that? I know I crossed a major boundary, but Mom was just worried about you. Mom was so worried about me that she trespassed and then tried to plant evidence in my home. She tried to break me and Sky apart, Brian. Can't you see that? I was just doing this for your own good, Tyson. Sky isn't the right match for you. My friend's daughter has loved you since kindergarten. You should have married her. I promised her that I would make you divorce Sky. Brian didn't know everything. He just felt bad for me. Don't yell at him like that." Me and Tyson were shocked to hear this. We knew that her friend's daughter had been highly inappropriate with Tyson, and that's why we didn't see her anymore. We knew that Jill didn't agree with our decision, but we didn't know that she had been actively encouraging this girl's wild dreams. Tyson had no idea, and even Brian looked hella surprised. Brian said, "Mom, you promised that you wouldn't do anything like this. That's why I gave you their keys and details about them. You promised that you wouldn't try to break them up. We talked about this, Mom." "I know what's best for Tyson. I don't want to hear anything else. Sky is a shit woman and won't be able to keep Tyson for long. I bet she's using him for money and will divorce him after a few years. I'm trying to save my son from ruin." "Don't you dare talk about my wife like that. You didn't do anything for me or my happiness. You did this because you have a messed up dream of seeing me marry your best friend's daughter. You care nothing about me or my feelings. Hell, you trespassed into my house and invaded my privacy, Mom. I don't think I will ever forgive you for that. It's time me and Sky go low contact with you." No, Tyson, what are you saying? I'm your mother. You can't just do this to me. We already dealt with this low contact nonsense. Let's not escalate things and make it worse. You are the only one escalating things and making it worse, Mom. You crossed all of our boundaries 1,000,000 times. And you tried to break us up multiple times as well. Tyson might forgive you because he's your son, but I never will. That also applies to you too, Brian. No matter what your reasons, you shouldn't have betrayed us in the first place. There, my wife has said it, guys. Since she wants nothing to do with you two anymore, I don't either. Consider all your financial privileges gone. Mom, I'm not paying your rent. Brian, your college fees are on you, and so is the accommodation. I don't reward people for bad behavior. My decision is final. After hearing this, both Brian and Jill started to beg and plead with us for forgiveness. They made promises about being better and finally treating our boundaries with respect. I guess it was a little too late for that. With some more rounds of shouting and berating on all sides, Tyson told Jill never to contact him again. We were also changing locks and setting up security cameras for good measure. We threatened Jill with a cease and desist letter if she does anything stupid. She kept crying and begging for forgiveness from Tyson while occasionally calling me names. Brian just stood there with his head down. He was finally understanding the gravity of the situation. Now, that wraps up what happened on that fateful day. So, do you want to know what happened afterward? Well, Jill got arrested, of course. Turns out she really wasn't interested in taking us seriously at all. We changed the locks and installed security cameras the next day. That night she came pounding on our door crying and screaming. Something about how I can't separate her from her son. Anyway, she threw my precious potted lilies at the door and we promptly called the police. She kicked and screamed about how she deserved to be in the house that belonged to her son and how I was holding her grown-ass man hostage in his own house. The police ignored her lame lies and took her back to the station. We couldn't file a restraining order with the limited evidence, but we are trying our best. My sweet husband had brought me brand new lilies to make up for the lost ones. With that out of the way, here's what happened when Jill realized that her son really wasn't giving her any money at all. Brian realized that quickly and took up 2 jobs to support himself. He was actually remorseful about what he did, so there is some hope of salvaging our relationship. But Jill went mad when Tyson didn't send her money. She did work, but not enough to stay in an apartment. Right now, the most she can afford is a trailer. Anyway, she doesn't learn her lesson and comes banging on our door again. This time she discarded the pots and threw Tyson's armchair at the door. How creative, right? The police were not thrilled, and we finally got a restraining order in place. We don't know the whereabouts of Jill anymore, since she finally realized what a waste of money it would be to hire a lawyer or make bail. So she is keeping away for now. Me and Tyson have joined couples counseling and are working to strengthen our marriage a bit more. We have been discussing talking to Brian again, but we are on the fence about it. I don't know what the future holds, but I sure do enjoy the peace right now. Hey everyone, I'm Imogen and I'm 29 years old. So a while back I went through a divorce from my abusive husband Trevor. I was stuck in a really toxic marriage, and sometimes you need a nudge from someone to break free from such situations. Surprisingly, that nudge came from none other than my mother-in-law Kiki. Trevor and I had an unexpected start at the Cheesecake Factory. It was funny because we share the same birthday and we both happened to be celebrating there. Trevor had this charming look with long, slicked back hair and an adorable face. My friends pushed me to go talk to him and get his number, so I did. That's how we started chatting. Trevor, well, he was a man of few words. Quite the mystery, you know. He had this way of keeping his emotions close to his chest, not opening up much. But strangely, there was this unspoken understanding between us, a sort of unspoken connection that felt comfortable. After a year of dating, we decided to tie the knot. We bought a house, we were both working, and things seemed pretty stable. About a year into our marriage, we felt it was the right time to start a family. When I found out I was pregnant, I was over the moon with joy. I shared the news with Trevor and he was ecstatic. We even had a gender reveal party. It was a baby boy. Trevor had always dreamt of having a son and he couldn't have been happier. He started preparing the baby's nursery, building the crib and talking about all the wonderful father-son moments he envisioned. But then our world shattered when I experienced a miscarriage. I called 911 while Trevor was away. When he reached the hospital, the doctors gave us the devastating news that we had lost our baby boy. It hit us both hard, especially Trevor. We supported each other through the tough times, and a year later we decided to try again. I became pregnant once more, and it was another baby boy. 5 months into the pregnancy, history repeated itself with another miscarriage. Trevor, who had built up so much hope, was heartbroken for the second time. I battled depression, unable to get out of bed, but Trevor didn't seem to notice. He was lost in his own grief, and it created a distance between us. He started sleeping in the guest room, and our communication had gone down the drains. I figured he needed space and time to heal, so I gave him that. However, a month after my second miscarriage, Trevor lost his job. I still remember the day he came home after that. I heard the sound of breaking glass and immediately rushed into Trevor's room, only to find a shattered plant pot. "What happened? Are you okay, Trevor?" "Okay, Imogen. I just got fired." "I'm so sorry, baby, but sometimes life is not fair, honey. You'll find another job. You've got a strong skill set." "Baby? You were calling me baby and offering support as if everything is just fine between us?" "Trevor, we're going through a rough patch, that's all. It will pass." "No, Imogen, it won't. Since the day I married you, it has been like everything in my life has gone wrong." "What do you mean?" "I don't know if you want to hear this, but it feels like this marriage is cursed. 2 miscarriages, losing my job of 4 years. It's like the universe doesn't want us to build a family or move forward. I'm just so tired." "Trevor, that is not true. We love each other, and we entered this marriage together. Every marriage has its ups and downs. Don't worry, I have my job, and I'll take care of everything until you find a new one. Just leave me alone, okay? Get out of my room." It was the most we had talked about in the last few months. Hearing Trevor call our marriage cursed felt like a stab in the heart, but I understood he was overwhelmed. Maybe it was my love for him that made me empathetic. Losing 2 babies and his job had hit him hard. It was like a never-ending string of bad luck. I decided to give him some space. The next day, I headed to work without asking Trevor about his plans for the day or if he was going to stay home. When I returned, Trevor was on the couch, an almost empty six-pack of beer beside him. I tried to talk to him, asking how he was feeling, but all I got was silence. I pressed him to answer, and he said, "I'm okay. I'm going to go to sleep now." That's all I got from him. It had been almost a week since Trevor lost his job. Each day when I left for work, he was planted on the couch, glued to the TV, and when I returned, the scene remained unchanged except for the growing pile of empty alcohol bottles. I couldn't help but worry about him. One evening, unable to ignore my concern any longer, I finally talked to him. "Hi there, how you feeling? Did you manage to have lunch?" "Yeah, I ordered some Chinese takeout." "Good choice. Actually, I wanted to discuss something with you. I understand it's been tough and you're going through a lot. However, I'm concerned about the amount you're drinking, Trevor." "I'll decide what I have to do. Just because you're the one bringing in the money doesn't mean you can dictate everything in this house."
"Honey, that's not what I meant. I've been thinking, given everything we've been through, perhaps we could consider therapy, either as a couple or individually. Whatever you're comfortable with. I've been struggling too."
Can you stop making yourself out to be the only victim here? I lost those babies too, you know. I need some air. I'm heading out.
I found myself trapped in a cycle of difficult conversations with Trevor. No matter how hard I tried to be empathetic and understanding, he continued to shut me out, invalidating my feelings. It was a struggle and I didn't know what to do. Trevor wasn't ready to accept the help I wanted to provide. Instead, he often said hurtful things, making me feel like it was my fault for our problems. It was all too much to bear and I felt lost. But then, one day, my phone rang, and it was my mother-in-law's name, Kiki. "Hi, Imogen." "Hey, Mom. It has been a while. How are you?" "Yes, dear, it has been long. I called you regarding my son, by the way." "Oh, yeah. He must have told you about the job." "Yes, he did. He also told me how you were stopping him from spending money on himself." "What?" "Well, Trevor tells me everything. Imogen, can you please stop creating a toxic environment for him at home? He has already been through a lot." "Toxic? You must be kidding me." "Well, Trevor told me how you don't talk to him. Asked him to sleep in another room, and you've been making your own rules since he lost the job. Bullying him for it and not talking to him. You are an adult, Imogen. Behave like one. You are his wife. Be supportive." "He told you all these lies, Kiki? Really? You have got it all so wrong. Trevor is at home drinking all day. He is the one who decided to move out of our bedroom, and I even offered to take him to therapy, but he just doesn't want to." "Imogen, don't call Trevor an alcoholic. He barely drinks." "I know. That's why I was so concerned about him. I don't know what happened to him." "Imogen, you are not taking care of my son. Do I have to lecture you on marriage now? I wish he would just leave you. Poor kid." "I can't believe you're saying this. Why don't you trust me? Trevor's never been like that. I wish I was there to take care of him. You know what? Why don't you come over for a week? Check up on your son yourself and see how he's doing." "Maybe that's not a bad idea. Trevor will be glad to see some positivity in the house." "Sure, whatever you say." I was furious with Trevor for lying to his mom about me when he was the one keeping his issues to himself. At this point, anger was my predominant emotion. Kiki came over to our place, and just as I anticipated, Trevor wasn't thrilled about it. On the morning of Kiki's arrival, Trevor left the house and spent the day with his friends. While he was away, Kiki took over the kitchen and started preparing his favorite meal for him. "I doubt you've been feeding my son well." Well, I made him breakfast and dinner. I don't get what's wrong with him. Why did he leave just as I came? My son, I'm just so sickened by the thought that he can't spend a minute in this house because of you. Kiki, are we really doing this again? These are facts, Imogen. I don't know what you're doing wrong. Are you not giving him enough attention? Is this about the baby? I just think this whole marriage was a blunder. You don't have the right to pass judgment on my marriage. You're here for a week as Trevor's mother. But this is our life. Oh, honey, don't worry. I guess I'll have you out of the house by the end of this week. My son needs someone to open his eyes. Kiki was super sure her son was right. I decided not to argue anymore. I thought she'd figure it out eventually, so that night, Trevor did not come home for dinner and Kiki called him a bunch of times, but he finally picked up and yelled that he would be late. When Trevor got back home, Kiki tried to cheer him up by telling him she had cooked his beloved crab cakes. Trevor was not in the mood for food, though. Kiki, being the persistent type, pushed him a bit. He stormed into the kitchen and dumped the crab cakes she had made into the trash. Then he spotted a fresh batch of brownies on the counter and tossed them out as well. I knew Trevor wasn't in the best frame of mind, but I couldn't help but speak. If you didn't want to eat, you could have been polite. I don't care about stupid crab cakes and brownies, okay? She was preparing those for you all evening from scratch. Also, food in the trash? Are you serious? If you care so much about the brownies, why don't you pick them up from the trash and eat them? The next day, I left for work, wanting to steer clear of their mother-son drama. When I got back, it was clear there had been some tension between them, but I didn't bother asking. When I was home and not at work, Trevor acted like a rebellious teenager, disrespecting both me and his mom. He would say hurtful things about Kiki's character and his dad leaving, and I felt bad for Kiki, even though she thought I was the problem. One morning when I woke up, Trevor and Kiki were fighting. I went into the living room. Trevor, why don't you come with me to the yoga session I have booked for us? It would be good for both of us. Yoga? Seriously, Mom? You think I have time for that crap? It's just an hour, Trevor. It can help relieve some stress. It can also help you with your anger, son. Anger? You want to talk about anger, Mom? Let's talk about how you ruined my childhood with your loose character. The reason my dad left you was I was angry about it. But did you do something about it too? Trevor, please don't bring up your father. This is about us. When are you leaving again? Trevor, who are you? Why are you being so rude to me? Well, this is me now. I have to go help my friend fix something. I'll see you later. Trevor left and slammed the door in our faces. Look what you have done to my son. This is what happens when you keep someone in a cage. Can't you see what's really going on? I've had enough of both of you. First, Trevor won't talk to me for some inexplicable reason, and now you're laying all the blame on me, assuming you've got everything figured out. I'm off to work. When I got back from work, things were a total mess. Kiki had her bags packed, and both Trevor and Kiki were there. I was seriously confused about what was going on. Wait, Kiki, I thought you were planning to leave at the end of the week. What's happening? I don't know. I went for a walk, and when I came back, I found all this. Mom, you were leaving. I got you a flight ticket back home, and I paid for it with my card. I also took some cash from your purse. It's your ticket, not mine. But why, son? I'm your mother. Why are you pushing me away? You're trying to control my life, Mom, telling me not to drink, to get my act together. I am a grown-up now. What's wrong with you? I only want what's best for you. Just like when you dated Steve after Dad left and he used to beat me up and you ignored all of it. Trevor, enough! Why can't you let it go? Is that girl putting all these things in your head? To be rebellious? I saw her outside with you the other day. What girl? Shut up, Mom. Why do you have to open that stupid mouth of yours all the time? Trevor grabbed an empty beer bottle within reach and tried to aim it at Kiki. She managed to dodge it, but she hurt her hand and her finger was bleeding a bit. I couldn't stay silent any longer seeing another woman in distress like that. Trevor, that's enough. She's your mom. Get out and don't come back until I tell you to. Stay wherever you want to, but don't come here. I was really baffled by what had just gone down. It was all still sinking in. And there was Kiki shedding tears. I grabbed a glass of water for her and wiped her wound clean. Then I got her seated. My mind was buzzing with questions that needed answers. Trevor never mentioned anything about his mom's boyfriend, Steve, or her past relationships. It was like he kept a lot hidden from me. I knew Kiki had been through a divorce, but she never talked about any of her boyfriends. And this mystery girl she mentioned. I had this gut feeling that the answers I was about to get wouldn't be easy to swallow. Please forgive me, Imogen. I'm sorry I treated you this way, especially knowing what's been going on. Well, Kiki, I need the truth now. What's happening? To begin with, Trevor has been cheating on you. What? With who? How long has this been going on? I don't know all the details, but the other day, when he wasn't home and you were at work, that girl dropped by. I had a conversation with her. She didn't even seem to know Trevor was a married man. Wow. Now it makes sense where he was all those nights. I trusted him and he did this to me. Trevor's dad cheated on me too. I blame myself for the way Trevor is now. I had some abusive boyfriends and I neglected Trevor when he needed me. What's done is done. You did neglect Trevor. But that's no excuse for what he's doing now. You've seen the way he behaves lately, and what he did today was way out of line. I'm not making excuses for Trevor. I can't even recognize him anymore. He needs help. He's becoming the person he once feared. He has become a monster. From one woman to another, Imogen, I'm begging you to leave him. He's abused you and cheated on you, and now he's out there ruining his own life. You have a future ahead of you. I'm so sorry for my son. You should talk with him. You can stay here for another 2 days until you have your actual flight. I guess Trevor has a place he can comfortably stay. So Kiki stayed with me for another day, and we didn't hear from Trevor. No calls, no texts, no apologies. To be honest, I knew the end of this relationship was coming somehow. The way Trevor had been acting and everything, I should have seen the signs. I was beating myself up and blaming myself for Trevor's behavior. I thought the reason for my not being able to give him children led to all this. When Kiki left, I thought about things for a couple of days before reaching out to Trevor. I knew my life would significantly change. I was my own sense of strength. I talked to my parents and I was close with them, but this would have absolutely broken their hearts. I did plan on telling them later, but at that time I decided to confront Trevor first. I called him and asked him to come over, and he did. Kiki told me everything, Trevor. You've been cheating on me despite all we've been through. Instead of being there for each other, you pushed me away and mistreated me. Imogen, I'm not scared of you. Your attitude, that's exactly what I mean. And with the incident with your mom, you need some help, Trevor. Whatever. You've changed so much. You used to be quiet, but this anger, where's it coming from? I wanted to start a family and you couldn't give me that. I lost my job. It's like you're bringing bad luck, and then you blame me for being angry? Honestly, I don't want to be with you anymore, Trevor. You're not the person I fell for. So, you're leaving me? That's right. Who's going to handle groceries and other essentials? I don't have a job. I can't even pay for gas. I can't take care of stuff right now. You're such a man-child. Seriously? You expect me to do all that while you're out there cheating on me and treating me like dirt? Come on, Imogen. I'll end it with her if that's what you want. Seriously? Do you think I'm that naive? Am I your money machine or what? It's over, Trevor. After parting ways with Trevor, I found myself on a new and unexpected path. Divorces are never easy. Kiki gave me a call after the divorce. She informed me that Trevor had been crashing at her place and that his girlfriend had broken up with him. Life has this funny way of turning the tables sometimes. I remembered how Kiki had once vowed to open her son's eyes, but it turned out that her own eyes were the ones that truly opened. I decided to set up my own place, and let me tell you, it feels like a fresh start. The Trevor chapter had its share of complications and it left its mark. So I decided to seek help and started therapy to work through the issues and become a better version of myself. In one of my therapy sessions with Alicia, she brought up something. She casually suggested the idea of me becoming a single parent through adoption. Her words stayed with me even after our session was over. Just last week, I did something pretty brave. I went to an adoption center, filled out some forms, and started training to become an adoptive parent. I'm really excited about this new chapter in my life. It's giving me hope and making me look forward to what's coming. Life hasn't always been easy, but it's made me stronger and more determined. Going down the adoption path feels like a chance to do something really good for a kid and experience the joys of being a parent, all in my own way.
Hello, I'm Sarah, a 29-year-old woman, and I've just recently gotten divorced. It happened because my husband, or rather ex-husband, was a cheating douchebag. But the way I found out was not the way I thought it would go. There was something good that came out of it, at least. But let me first tell you about how we met. I met Gavin at a bar. He happened to be there for some work-related party. He was the one that approached me, and he pretty much kept me company the entire night. I must admit that I was very insecure about myself, so to get that much attention from a man was nothing short of an ego boost. Anyway, after we met for the first time, we went out on a couple of dates. I found out that he was 6 years older than me, but I didn't mind that because I had always had a thing for older men. He was also surprisingly a lot more charming than he was at the bar. We went on multiple dates until we decided we wanted to make our relationship official. Before I continue, I should tell you that my big dream has always been to own my own place. My parents lived way too far away for me to live with them, and I didn't want to always live on a lease. My parents helped me with half the down payment while I worked my butt off for the other half. Anyways, Gavin and I dated for around 2 years before we decided to tie the knot. Our wedding was a pretty small affair, with our guests being only our closest friends and family, and we loved every bit of it. Our relationship thrived after we got married. Never in a million years had I thought that Gavin was thinking of or even capable of cheating on me. Another thing I do want to say is that Gavin's mother, Eleanor, and I had a really good relationship. She always told me that I was like the daughter she never had. Every time I went over, I was pampered senseless by her. It was even more amazing to have her as a mother-in-law because she helped me feel better about the distance I had between my parents. She made me feel like I still had my mom with me. So when I finally had saved up enough to pay the down payment for a house, and I did purchase a house, the first people I celebrated my milestone with were Gavin and Eleanor. Both of them were really happy for me, and I was glad I had good people by my side. The only weird thing that happened was Gavin being adamant about being the one to create copies of the house keys. I didn't think much of it because I just thought that Gavin wanted to lighten my workload or something. I don't know, it's dumb, but that's just how I rationalized it. The next year, Gavin and I lived blissfully. We had a whole house that we could decorate and design however we wanted to. Gavin and I took up several renovation projects that I thought brought us only closer because it entailed spending a lot of time together. Essentially, I thought our relationship was going great. And then,
One day, Eleanor called me out of the blue. "Hi, Sarah." "Hey, Eleanor, what's up? Why the sudden call?" I don't know how to put this nicely. I have some rather shocking news. Do you think you could be seated for this?" "Seated? What's wrong? Are you okay?" Yes, I'm okay. I just know this will devastate you and I need you to not hurt yourself." "Eleanor, you're scaring me. What's going on?" "Okay, so I happened to overhear Gavin talking to someone on the phone the other day when you guys were over for brunch. He seemed to be speaking very lovey-dovey with them. I knew it couldn't have been you because, well, why would you guys speak on the phone when you were in the same place?" "Oh, well, I started snooping through his stuff. I know it's not right, but I just didn't want my son to be a cheater. I made up some stupid excuse and managed to get access to his email. I managed to find out that he has been cheating on you with 2 other women." "What? How? How could he do this to me?" "I'm so sorry that this is happening to you. I know it's barely any consolation, but I'm super ashamed of Gavin. I'm just so broken right now. Why would he do something like this? Wasn't I enough for him? He had to go and cheat with not 1 but 2 other women?" "Oh, honey, that's not the case at all. No one deserves this, and neither do you. But I'm afraid it does get a little worse." "What could possibly make this situation any worse?" "Well, it turns out that Gavin made copies of your house keys and gave them to his affair partners." My world was spinning around me. What was going on? I wanted to yell at Eleanor. No, that was not right. I was angry, but I was not angry at her. I was angry at Gavin for ruining something so perfect and to defile my house in such a manner. I wanted to obliterate him. This was the last thing I had expected from him. He knew how hard I worked to own my own place. How dare he do that to me? A million thoughts raced through my head. I didn't know how to feel because my emotions were a mess too. Nothing was making sense, and in all seriousness, I wanted to talk to Gavin about this and see what he had to say. There was no doubt in my mind that Eleanor was lying to me. Eleanor loved me way too much to do that to me. If anything, it was because she loved me that she was telling me about her cheating son itself. "Sarah, darling, are you there?" "Oh, yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I'm just processing everything. I don't know what I have to do or even what I want to do. I'm just so angry and hurt." "I may have an idea if you're up to it." "Oh, what is it?" "What if we take a little revenge on Gavin? Then you can divorce him and leave him in the streets for all I care." "I love it. I'm fully on board with it." Also, I actually contacted these 2 girls. Turns out neither of them knew of the other, and they definitely had no idea that he was married too. So that scumbag was cheating on 3 people at once? That's a new low, even for him. Yeah. So I was wondering if you'd be okay with letting these girls in on our little revenge plan. You know what? That's perfect. Gavin has a weekend business trip this weekend to the other side of the city. At least I hope it is. I cross-checked with both of them, and neither of them has any plans with him anytime soon. Great. I'm hoping there isn't another mistress, but invite the other 2 over and we'll discuss the plan. Eleanor and I talked for a little while more. She could tell I really needed a shoulder to cry on, although I hadn't yet begun to cry. I guess my brain was still in shock and I was going to take some time to react, or I was just completely numb by the new information. Either way, I was still a mess. My emotions kept shifting from anger to sadness to hurt. Eleanor helped calm me down a little. She also helped me figure out how to treat Gavin normally until his business trip. I knew it would be a hassle. If I was this unstable with Eleanor, how would I maintain my composure in front of Gavin? At the same time, deep down inside, I knew I had to do it because I had to make Gavin feel the panic and pain I had felt. When Gavin got back from work that evening, I treated him like I always did. Whenever he smiled or laughed, I wanted to punch him. When he kissed me goodnight, I wanted to wash my mouth off with acid. I was hurting so deeply that I didn't think I could actually ever feel that way. How could he cheat on me and then treat me like I was the most important person to him in the world? I cried myself to sleep that night, but I woke up the next morning and made myself look better. I couldn't let Gavin know that something was wrong. I bid him goodbye as usual. Eleanor called and asked if she and the girls could come over. I said they could, and within an hour all three of them were over at my place. When I saw the girls, I was kind of taken aback. Both of these women were young. One of them looked dangerously young. At that moment, I only hoped that she was legal and Gavin hadn't committed a crime. Eleanor greeted me with a tight hug. She was tearing up, and it took everything in me to not break down too. I invited them all in, and we sat down on the couch to talk about how things turned out for us. The first thing I found out about these girls was that one of them was named Riley and the other was Sadie. Sadie was the one who looked dangerously young, but my fears were calmed down when she told me she was 23 years old, while Riley was 25. Honestly, it wasn't great to hear that Gavin was having an affair with a woman who was a good 12 years younger than him. I found out that he had been having an affair with Riley for about a year, which meant that it started right around after we got married. That stung. He hadn't been happy with me since the first year of our marriage. What had I ever done or not done in this case, I guess? Riley had met Gavin at a bar, and apparently he was very persuasive about wanting to sleep with her. Sadie had a similar story, except his affair with her started 6 months ago. He had met her at a bar too and persuaded her into sleeping with him. He had bought both of them multiple drinks and refused to leave their side. They were a little uncomfortable, but I guess Gavin had a knack for finding insecure women. These poor women were entranced by all the attention they were getting, so they just followed along with him. Both of them thought they had found something amazing with him after their first interaction. They told me about how he had been over to their places multiple times and even spent nights there. Over the course of the conversation, we began to slowly realize just how well Gavin had played us. He used the excuse of business trips all the time to explain his time away from us. Then we began talking about all the things that he did to make us fall for him in the first place. Since I had been the oldest of the three of us, I started telling them about how he had been super charming and how he was a great listener. They agreed with me. As the conversation went on, we realized that he literally used the same moves on all of us. If any one of us received flowers, the other two received them as well. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish with that, but I felt like I was about to throw up. All this time that I thought we were doing amazingly, we weren't. Every time he made me feel special, like I was the only woman in his eyes, I was not. I was just one of the ladies on his roster. I felt beyond betrayed. Riley and Sadie looked pale, and I figured I did too. We kind of just sat in silence for a while as we processed everything we had learned. Eleanor was the one to break the silence and bring us back to earth. Wow, okay, so my son is the scum of the earth, but we're not here to discuss that. Eleanor? No, I get it. I know you guys are hurt and you feel betrayed. I may not have the same relationship with my son, but to an extent, I feel those emotions too. I mean, at some point, I feel like I failed as a parent. You are and were an amazing parent. You raised him with good values, but at the end of the day, it was his decision to make these choices. He's a grown adult who's capable of making his own decisions. Thanks, sweetie. But my point is, what are we going to do about this? To be completely honest, I want to beat him up. I can't believe I wasted an entire year on this douchebag. I second the beating him up. Cheating is the one thing that I can't stand. Look, I want to do the same, but that won't do him any good. Sarah's right. We need to come up with a plan. We're going to need him to feel panic and betrayal. Okay. How about I call him this weekend and tell him I'm at your place? Oh, I could do the same. Yeah, and since he'll be away, he'll be panicking about our meeting. And what if he does manage to make it back home that night? We'll just be sitting inside, home, and looking like we're the best of friends. That's smart. That will definitely make him sweat even more. Yeah, then you can slap him with the divorce papers and we can, well, slap him if we feel like it. I won't stop you guys from doing that. And if it's any consolation, we signed a prenup. So when we get divorced, he'll literally have nothing. That makes me feel really good. He deserves nothing, and I'm glad he'll get what he deserves. Good. Now we have a plan in place. Sarah, let's get your divorce filed, and then we'll work out the rest of the plan. We still had about 2 days till Gavin's trip. I don't know where I got my self-control or my patience from, but I was grateful that I had found it. I managed to keep the act up regardless of every instinct I had to confront him. I stopped crying because, as messed up as it seemed, I guess it felt a little nice to know that I wasn't in this all alone. There were other women who were hurt too, and if not for myself, I knew I needed to avenge these women. Riley, Sadie, Eleanor, and I had created a group chat. We kept each other updated there. I wasn't worried about Gavin snooping through my phone because he had never shown any interest in anything I ever did, which I now realize might have been because he was too busy cheating on me. Anyways, whenever Gavin left for work, Eleanor would come over and we'd go to the law firm and get the divorce filed and the papers printed. By the time it was time for Gavin's trip, everything had been set up. Sadie, Riley, and Eleanor came over about an hour after Gavin left. We all kind of just hung out and talked about how we were feeling. The girls shared the same sentiment of not feeling alone in all of this with me. I was glad that we all felt connected in some weird, messed up way. Eleanor lent us a solid shoulder to cry on. I knew she was hurting too, but I was glad that she never put her hurt over ours, and that she recognized the difference between our hurt. I waited until Gavin texted me another hour later that he reached his location to give Riley the go. She then picked up her phone and called Gavin. She had the phone on speakerphone. Gavin sounded pleasantly surprised to see her call him. Riley acted all excited and told him that she was coming over in half an hour because she had a surprise for him. Gavin sounded a little frantic. He kept trying to convince her not to go, but Riley was adamant and told him that she would be there before hanging up. Sadie waited about 15 minutes before she called Gavin. Unlike when Riley called, Gavin sounded snappy when he picked up Sadie's call. He asked her what she wanted, and she replied that she was 15 minutes away from the house. She told him that she would wait for him inside. If Gavin was just a little frantic before, now he was fully panicking. He once again tried to tell Sadie that he was out of town and asked her not to go there, but Sadie told him she walked long enough and she was tired and she just wanted to rest. She hung up the phone on him before he could get a word in. I have to admit, I felt this huge rush of adrenaline after this. Just the thought of how much Gavin must have been panicking sent a rush of happiness and satisfaction all throughout my body. I couldn't wait to see his face when he got back. Since the big part of our plan was done, we decided to make ourselves some drinks to make what was about to happen even more entertaining. When the drinks began to kick in a little, we all couldn't help but laugh at how stupid Gavin was to give both of them copies of the keys to my house, especially when I literally worked from home. Somehow and somewhere along that time that we waited for Gavin to return, we began to heal a little. We began to see the truth and accept the reality of Gavin, and it felt refreshing. About 2 hours after we had called Gavin, we heard his car pull up in the driveway. By that point, we were pretty tipsy and unable to contain our excitement. Eleanor had been the one who reminded us that we needed to act well. We put on our best sober faces and readied ourselves to face Gavin and tear him down. Gavin quite literally burst through the door. "Babe, what's going on here?" "Oh, I invited your mom over." "Yeah, that's cool, but what about the other people here?" "Them? These lovely women showed up at my place and they seem to know you, so I invited them in." "You never told me that you had such a pretty wife." "Me either." "Right, maybe it's time you leave." "Don't be rude, Gavin. I taught you better. Besides, we were having a girls' night. Why are you here?" "Yeah, why are you here? I thought you were away on a business trip." "A business trip? Is that why you couldn't spend time with me this weekend, even though we always spend time together every third weekend?" "Oh my God, he does that with you too." "Me too." "Look, guys, no, don't want to hear anything. I just want you out of my house." That's when I saw Gavin cry for the first time. He began crying and begging me not to leave him. The sight of him sobbing surprisingly did not make me feel any sympathy. It only made me feel even more disgusted. I didn't say anything much to him. I just got up and handed him the divorce papers. Gavin was a mess. He turned to his mother, but Eleanor just looked away. He tried to appeal to her, but she told him that he was dead to her. He truly looked like a man who had lost it all, and no sight was as satisfying as that. Riley and Sadie didn't slap him, but they did throw the copies of the house keys he had given them in his face and left. I had a bag packed and ready for him to take. I got it out and threw it at him. I told him he had 5 minutes to leave or I would get the cops involved. He left after that. I just sat down after that and finally cried again. This time Eleanor held me and both of us cried at the loss of someone who was so dear to us. An hour after Gavin left, my phone began to blow up with calls and messages from him. Every single text only made him seem more pathetic to me. In the next few months, my divorce would be finalized. Eleanor was a true rock for me in that time. Gavin's desperation turned into spite and he tried his hardest to contest the divorce and get something from me, but I had him sign an ironclad prenup before we got married, so he got nothing out of the divorce other than a large bill to his lawyer. Anyway, I didn't really keep tabs on what happened to him, and neither did Eleanor. The one positive thing that came out of this whole experience was the new friends I made. After the divorce got finalized, Riley, Sadie, and I went out to a bar to party as a final screw you to Gavin. We got a lot closer, and even though it's still a bit of a sore subject, we managed to find the humor in our shared experience. I guess the experience just showed me how life can take so many unexpected turns, but if you have the right people by your side, every unexpected turn can lead to something beautiful.
Hello guys, I'm Ava and this name is fake. Sorry, but some details of my story involve sensitive information, so I don't want to use real names. It's been a while since these incidents have happened. It's almost been a year. I have since moved on and am trying to rebuild my life. But since I don't have a lot of people close to me, I needed to share my story somewhere.
I guessed that you guys would be the perfect ones to share this with. My story is not about my mother-in-law. I never had a chance to meet my mother-in-law since my husband James grew up with his childless uncle and aunt. His parents died when he was young. James and I connected a lot on this fact. I too lost my parents when I was young, but I had a twin sister, Anna, unlike James, who was a single child. While James had a strong support system with his aunt and uncle, I didn't have that. My grandma looked after me and Anna, but wasn't very present for us. Anna, my twin, was always a bully to me, and my grandma never stopped her. Anna tormented me regularly to prove that she was the better twin. I often questioned her as to why she was so mean to me after she betrayed me by sleeping with my first boyfriend. I said, "Why do you hurt me so much, Anna? You have always been abusive towards me when we were children. Now you are going after every boy I like and sleeping with them. Hell, you destroyed my first ever relationship. Why do you do this?" "I hate you, Ava. I can't stand the fact that there is someone who looks like me. I want you to remember that even though we are twins, I am the better one. That's why every boy chose me over you. You are nothing but a cheap copy of me." How can you be so cruel to your own sister, Anna? I'm your family. I love you. I never hold grudges, but you just refuse to change. How long will you continue to torment me? Anna didn't answer and simply laughed at me while I cried my eyes out. She never stopped. She went on to steal all the boyfriends I had and the men I liked. The only one she couldn't steal was my husband. Actually, I was so scared of introducing James to her that I didn't do it until we were engaged. My fears were not unfounded. Anna started to hit on James from the first day itself. Thankfully, James ignored her. To be honest, Anna is a big pick-me girl. That's why she doesn't have a lot of friends and never has meaningful relationships. Plus, she was busy going after my guys to find a man for herself. Anyway, since James ignored her and kept her at bay, I thought that I had finally found a loyal man. Well, I was wrong. James and I got married and lived comfortably for 2 years. Now, this was probably because my evil twin sister was working in another city back then. But as soon as she was back, there were problems. She started to send inappropriate texts to James and even tried to go out with him without me. James had a hard time sidestepping her. I called her up numerous times to warn her and put some sense into her. I said, "Anne, you need to stop being so freaking desperate. James is already tired of your shit, and so am I. You need to stop trying to mess with James. He won't give in like the other men I was with." "What's the matter, sis? Are you scared or something?" "I'm just trying to be friendly with James. It's not my fault that he keeps thinking of it inappropriately. I guess James is not as invested in you as you thought." "I have seen your texts. And you were downright provocative, Anna. You sent him inappropriate texts. There was nothing innocent about it. Don't make my life difficult, Anna. I'm trying hard not to cut you off." To be honest, James had told me numerous times to cut her off. I didn't have much contact with her except the occasional hellos and stuff. Going no contact was not an option for me. She was the only family left since my grandma died when I was in college. I didn't want to abandon her. She was my sister after all. I guess that was my biggest mistake. I should have gotten rid of her sooner. The major incident with Anna happened at a friend's anniversary party. At that time, James and I were going through a big marital problem that I will reveal later. The problem was so bad that I was considering divorce. James was trying his best to change my mind. Despite having a bad time, we still went to the party because of prior commitments. My sister Anna was also invited since they worked together in the same place. I really wasn't in the mood to see Anna, especially because she started to annoy me as soon as I arrived. She said, "I see that you and James are sitting separately. Something up, sis? Is your skill to keep your man finally running out?" "My marriage is none of your business, Anna.
I suggest you keep your thoughts to yourself. I would also suggest staying away from me since I am not in the mood to listen to you. Ah, I get it. You must be jealous because James and I were talking quite a bit a few minutes ago. What can I do, Ava? I'm charming that way. Even James is slowly losing his control. I didn't have the mood to even correct her stupid assumptions. I moved away from her and went to a different part of the house. The friend had a huge place with a big lawn, so I had plenty of space to avoid Anna. Plus, a lot of people were invited, so it was easy to avoid my sister. After an hour, I really wanted to go home. I saw that James was busy talking to his friend, so I informed the host and went home alone. He promised to drive James home since James was drinking and he wasn't. Here is when things became strange. Our friend brought James home well past midnight. He was passed out, so the friend brought him inside and laid him on the couch. I was surprised because James never drank to the point of passing out. Anyway, I let him sleep while I went upstairs. The next morning, Anna gave me a surprise visit. I was shocked and confused as to why she was there. She came into the living room while I said, "What are you doing so bright and early, Anna? Don't you have to go to work?" "I do have to go to work, Ava, but I needed to check up on James first." "He is fine, as you can see. He was just a little drunk. I don't understand why you needed to show up in person when you could have just called me." While I was busy racking my head for a motive, Anna was smirking at me. Hearing us talk, James finally woke up and came to see what was going on. As soon as Anna saw him, she walked up to him and hugged him. James was surprised and didn't even hug back. Immediately, I was suspicious about what was going on. Anna never hugged James like that and looked pretty inappropriate. James didn't push her because I guess he was just surprised. It was then that Anna decided to open her mouth. She said, "Hey James, how are you? I'm sure you had an amazing experience last night. I am truly happy with the outcome of what happened yesterday." "What are you talking about, Anna? I don't understand. You were not with us last night. I didn't even understand what you were saying." When James said this, Anna decided to have the most ridiculous expression on her face. It was a mixture of fake shock and sadness. She somehow managed to look like the poor little girl that she portrayed herself to be. She said in a heavy voice, "You don't remember last night? It was an amazing experience, but I'm sad that we would have to reveal this to Ava. I am sure she would be devastated and would lash out at us." "What are you even talking about? What is so bad that it will leave me devastated?" "It's just that James slept with me, Ava. He told me that you love me and whatnot. After you left the party early, we decided to hang out and then ended up sleeping together. We really didn't mean for it to happen, Ava, but I guess even James chose me over you in the end." This might sound super cruel, but I felt like laughing in her face. Anna was right in her assumption. Anyone else would be utterly devastated in these circumstances. Having your own twin sister sleep with your husband does mess you up mentally. However, I felt none of those emotions. No, it wasn't shock or denial. It was entirely something else. I didn't feel anything but amused at the situation. Meanwhile, my husband James almost fainted on the living room floor from surprise. His eyes bulged out and he looked like he was ready to shout at Anna. But before he could say anything, I decided to add a little more drama. Trust me, I had my reasons for it. I gave Anna a sad look and said, "What, you slept with my husband, Anna? How could you do this to me? You stole all my boyfriends in school and now decided to run after my husband. What kind of an evil twin does that?" "Oh, come on, Ava. It's not my fault that men prefer me over you. I always knew that I was the better twin. After all, I am more beautiful than you. Even if we look almost alike, I am still the better one. Your own husband proved it yesterday." "What the hell are you talking about, Anna?
I didn't freaking sleep with you. I slept with my wife here. It wasn't you last night. I wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. When did this even happen? What are you saying, James? We hooked up at the party right before I took you home. Ava was already home by then, so no, it wasn't her you slept with. Why are you acting so innocent, James? Do you feel bad for Ava? She needs to know the truth. I even have pictures as proof. James and I were absolutely gobsmacked by what Anna said. This woman had seriously taken intimate pictures of her and my husband and showed them to us proudly on her phone. Again, I was disgusted but also mildly amused by the situation. James, on the other hand, wasn't amused at all. He realized something that came to my mind a lot later. He said, "Wait a damn minute, Anna. Did you sleep with me while I was drunk like a fish? Are you kidding me? This is assault." Now, you don't have to twist things just because you want to protect Ava from the truth. You slept with me and enjoyed it, James. Ava, you have seen the pictures. Don't you agree that I'm right? James, you need to tell Ava the truth instead of lying. Ava, this is not true. Believe me, Ava, I did not do this. I didn't know that it was her. Hell, I don't even remember much of what happened after the party. There was no way I recognized her and gave my consent. James was begging and pleading with me to listen to him while Anna stood in the corner smirking. I pretended to be in distress to not raise any suspicions in Anna's mind. My marriage with James was already over regardless of this situation with my sister, but my sister's karma wasn't here yet, and I didn't want to do anything to jinx that. Not that it would have mattered anyway. What was done, and Anna would be facing the consequences of her actions soon. Anna was oblivious to that. She said, "I'm so sorry, Ava. I can see that James wants to be in denial and continue this marriage with you. I wish you all the best. I don't want to come between your marriage, so I will forfeit my place. I will let you have James." Shut up, Anna. I never wanted to sleep with you. You know very well what you have done, Anna. You assaulted me. You don't get to spin stories like that to destroy my marriage. There's no use scolding her, James. Our marriage is over anyway. You can leave with Anna. I don't want you in this house anymore. I can't even look at you two right now. You know what, Anna? You won. You successfully stole my husband as well. Congratulations. Anna actually looked gleeful seeing me in distress. She also didn't care that she assaulted a person to one-up me and steal my husband. Anna saw me in distress, made her point that she was the best, and simply left for her place. Meanwhile, James was begging me to forgive him for entirely different reasons that only me and James knew. Anna wasn't aware that I would have divorced James anyway. I told James, "Look, James, you already knew that I was going to divorce you. We talked about this. I know you have cheated on me." "I swear I didn't knowingly sleep with your sister, Anna. I was too drunk and thought that maybe you were willing to give us a chance. Anna tricked me into this, Ava. Please believe me." "I do believe you, James. All I did in front of Anna was a show. I didn't want her to know that I didn't care anymore. Let her have some fun tormenting me before she realizes how badly she messed up." James didn't say anything and thought for a while. He couldn't understand what I was talking about, but when he did, he was surprised that my mind worked so fast. He said, "I see what you're trying to do. I understand it completely, but I am not lying to you, Ava. I really thought you were giving me another chance." "Sorry, but there is no way in hell I'm staying with you. It doesn't matter whether you purposely slept with Anna or not. It's not about that. I am leaving you for what happened in the past. I know you are leaving me because I cheated on you with someone else and I contracted an STD from my mistress. Yes, my husband did cheat on me, but with a different woman. Me and James were already on the verge of a divorce when Anna stupidly decided to trap him. What she didn't know was that not only did James cheat on me, but
He also contracted a bad STD from his mistress. Don't worry, it wasn't the fatal kind, but it was something that she couldn't get rid of very easily. That is why I felt like laughing when Anna boasted about sleeping with him. I am not going to lie. I felt rather proud when James repeatedly told Anna that he would never sleep with her on purpose. I did feel bad for James because he was taken advantage of, and I decided to let him know that. You are right. After I found out about the cheating, there was no way I was staying. Your disease just made things worse. But I must say that what Anna did was despicable. Maybe you should do something about it. Actually, yes, I will file a report for assault. I was pretty intoxicated and I am sure she mixed something in my drink. I think I will go to the cops now and get it reported. There is no way I'm letting Anna get away with this. That would be a wise decision. I suggest you get her reported right away. Don't give her time to twist the facts. So I did actively encourage James to go to the cops. Anna was going to pay in more ways than one. She had no idea what fresh hell was waiting for her in the future. All I had to do was wait. Time wouldn't reveal everything to her. I wouldn't even have to move a finger. Karma would find her soon enough. Anna was arrested the very next day. James went to the friend to request CCTV tapes of his house to take it to the cops. The footage clearly showed Anna mixing something in James's drink and then taking him to a room while he was super intoxicated. James also clearly called her my name when talking to her. With all the evidence, Anna was immediately arrested from her freaking office in front of everyone. Everyone in her place of work now knew that Anna was a criminal. She was fired the same day, of course. She made bail and got out of prison since she had some money to her name. But her troubles weren't going to end anytime soon. It took her a week to call me crying. She said, "Ava, you need to help me. I need some money. I had to put my entire savings to make bail. On top of that, I found out yesterday that I got an STD. The treatment is expensive, Ava. It will land me in debt. I think I got the STD from James." No can do, Anna. There is no way in hell I would help you out in my life ever again. You are dead to me already. How can you be so selfish, Ava? You need to help me. Despite everything, I decided to tell you about the STD so that you can get tested as well. You should at least be thankful for that and help me out. Hearing this, I immediately started to laugh. Yes, I know it's rude to laugh at people when they are going through a difficult phase in life, but Anna has created this mess for herself and was fully responsible for what was happening to her. I had no reason to feel pity or sympathy for her when she tried to nuke my marriage and trap my husband. Now, she was back begging for help. I said, "Who are you fooling, Anna? You are not telling me about your disease because you are a good woman. You told me about it because you thought this would guilt me into helping you. Sorry to burst your bubble, but it won't work. I still don't help trash." How dare you laugh at me, Ava? How can you be so cruel? You were just mad and jealous that your husband chose me over you. You were mad that I stole your man. That's why you are not helping me. God, Anna, are you delusional or something? My husband called the cops on you. And no, you didn't steal anything. I was already going to divorce him because he cheated on me with someone else. And that's how he contracted the disease. Yes, I knew about it a long time ago. My words stunned Anna into silence. She finally realized how badly she had messed up. She had landed in her own trap. Instead of hurting me or breaking up my marriage, she nuked her life instead. I heard silence on the phone before Anna burst into tears again. She said, "I'm sorry for doing this, Ava. I had no idea that everything would backfire on me so badly. Yes, your husband thought that I was you. Yes, I trapped him. I was always jealous of you, and that's why I did it. But my tears are genuine, Ava. If you don't help me out, I will go to jail and drown in debt."
And that will be exactly what you deserve. All these years, I didn't cut you out of my life because you were the only family left for me. I helped you out whenever you needed and looked past everything you have done to humiliate and hurt me. But I won't be a doormat anymore. I won't help you out. Ava, please don't say that. I'm still your family. I'm so sorry for everything, Ava. I messed up and now I'm already paying a huge price for it. Please, Ava, don't abandon me. I have no one else. Please. Anna kept crying and begging me for forgiveness. I could understand why. I knew her finances well enough, and I also knew that she was now broke as shit. Plus, James was going to pursue the case till she went to jail. He was adamant that he wanted her to pay, and I support his decision completely. With lawyer fees, court fees, and medical bills, Anna would be down in a pit of debt. I highly doubt the debt would vanish even after she gets out of jail. I will not lie to you guys, it was pathetic hearing Anna cry, but I didn't feel any sympathy for her at all. Years of abuse and hurt destroyed any feelings I had for Anna. She felt like a stranger to me. I listened to her whine and cry for a bit before hanging up. I did tell her I didn't want her contacting me again. I blocked her from all places after sending her a message that I didn't want her to contact me. I also said that if she continued to harass me, I would file for harassment. I guess the threat of another lawsuit shut her up. So let me tell you what happened in the next few months. I filed for divorce from James as promised. He was actually civil about everything, even though he was sad about the divorce. I did give him some credit because he had confessed about his affair to me to avoid giving me the STD. Still, I didn't have any feelings left for him to stay in the marriage. Since James is rich, I got a hefty settlement. I took that opportunity to move states to be away from all the drama. Last I heard about Anna, she is looking at jail time. Since she used drugs to trap James, she is being charged with a level 1 felony. She will be in jail for a while. I have already made up my mind not to get in touch with her again. I am finally starting my life afresh and want to move on from all the things that were toxic in my life so far. I hope you guys wish me luck so that I never have to be in this situation again.